Now today we are going to discuss about the theories of communication, and we will start first with the introduction of the theories of information. That is, communication theory is a field information theory and the mathematics that studies the technical process of information as well as a field of psychology, sociology, semiotics, anthropology, studying and the interpersonal communication and intrapersonal communication. Basically, communication skills using the communication theory to improve your success. Basically, communication theory is a part of information theory that studies how information is transferred between two groups of humans. First, like in any other scientific study, and second, the process is simplified and includes only two actors, that was sender and second is receiver. So what is a communication theory? Communication theory is interesting and important. It plays an important role in understanding of human beings. Communication theories also helps to explain how a relationship can be built between two persons. The intimacy between people increased through interaction and the communication. Now, basically communication theory which helps us to communicate with others through our feelings, through our thoughts and have some particular medium. Most of such studies are based on the communication media on the human society. So basically what kind of purpose that a theory can illuminate an aspect of your communication so that you understand the process much more clearly. Theory also can hide things from your understanding or distort the relative importance of things. We consider a communication theory to be any systematic summary about the nature of the communication processes. So we have a three kind and the three categories in the theories. First is the hypodermic needle theory and the bullet theory. Second is the two-step flow theory and third one is the gatekeeping theory. First is hypodermic or a bullet theory. If I am talking about the hypodermic bullet theory, or it can also be a needle theory. So hypodermic needle theory implies mass media has a direct, immediate and a powerful effect on the audience. They can shoot or inject their messages straightforward into their viewers' head. The mass media in the 1940s and 1950s were perceived as a powerful influence on behavior change. There is only one way for the audience to hear or read the messages. There was becoming a force to be reckoned one. They also intended the message is directly received. Several factors contributed to this strong effect theory of communication, including we have some fact price and population of radio and television. We have the emergence of the persuasion industries such as advertising and propaganda. This theory basically suggests a powerful and direct flow of information from the sender to the receiver. In hypodermic needle model or a theory suggests that media messages are basically injected straightforward into a passive audience, which is immediately influenced by the message. It influences a very large group of people directly and uniformly by shooting or injecting them the appropriate. In this, the Frankfurt School proposed the bullet theory basically in the 1930s to explain the rise of the Nazism in Germany. It expresses the view that the media is a dangerous means of communicating an idea because the receiver or audience is a powerless to resist the impact of the messages. These kind of messages channelized through media are like the magic bullet. People are seen as passive and are seen as having a lot media material shoot at them because people end up thinking that what they are told because there is no other source of information. The theory assumes that what we see or hear, we believe and consume. The theory assumes we are brainwashed into the believing the media messages. This is some example of the hypodermic needle theory. In this, we have the straight impact in our mind. We have no kind of queries and nothing. If I am talking about the 1930s, so a radio broadcast of a war of the worlds was performed like a real news broadcast to hidden the effect of the story. People basically listening believed this is to be real and assumed the Mars had come to invade the world. This demonstrates the hypodermic needle theory as the people consumed and believed that what was broadcast by the media. It's very outdated and invalid. Not all people consume the media in the same way. Not everybody watches the news, consume the media in also the same way. And also audience are not simply passive, more up to date. Theories have proved this, such as Stuart Hall's reception theory. Like this, in this injection or a kind of the message straightly inject the people's mind, brain and a head. In this theory, people had a direct impact of the audience in our life or brain also. Next one is the two-step flow theory. Now, two-step flow theory. Basically, in this, the purpose of the study was focused on the presidential election with the help of example I am telling you, and campaign and the people decision making process towards the campaign. All three researchers were wanted to find out particularly whether the mass media messages affect direct influence in voting decision among the people. Unexpectedly, they found the media messages like radio and newspaper are very less influenced than an informal personal communication on a voting behavior. Based on this research data, the two-step flow communication theory of mass communication was developed by Cordes and Paul Lazarsfeld. This theory was the first to state that perhaps mass media didn't exert the kind of influence and was generally believed. It's also influence of mass media, but more by the means of interacting among themselves and 1940s during the US presidential elections. The two-step flow theory claims that the information we receive from the mass media moves in a two stages. First stage, that opinion leaders get information from a media sources, and other hand, the second opinion that leaders then pass the information among with their interpretation to others, like a friends, family, acquaintances, etc. These have a many flow steps: step 1, step 2, step 3, and more. Because when I'm talking about the hypodermic needle theory, in this we have just a two-person. First is the sender, second is the receiver. Sender gives the message or send the message straightforwardly to the reader, and that kind of messages what strike in the mind of the receiver and they follow or believe their thoughts or information. Second thing is this, that the two-step flow theory, in this first is the sender, second is the receiver, and center is the mediocre also. He or she will deliver the message from sender to the receiver in their own beliefs or in their own thoughts. This is a two-step flow theory example with the help of pictures. Then you can see here. Basically, in a public, political leader is an opinion leader. Here, few people are not influenced by the reader and their political views and thoughts. These people won't support opinion leaders and isolated from their population. Cat's poll seems the flow of media messages from radio and print to opinion leaders, and then the leaders leads the messages to the active users in the population. They also, through this transformation of the message, the leaders may add their opinion on the actual content, which may affect the low active users. In some cases, the opinion leaders are filtering the actual content, ensures that the information is needed by the people. Mostly the opinion leaders are selectively and they passes the messages to the groups. Next one is the gatekeeping theory. Gatekeeping is the process through which information in publication, broadcasting, and the internet filtered from dissemination. Here, the person who make a decision is called the gatekeeper. Originally focused on the mass media with its few to masses dynamic. Theories of gatekeeping also now includes the working of face-to-face communication and the many-to-many dynamic now easily available via through the internet. Koth Levin coins the word called a gatekeeping. Now it's one of the essential theories in communication theories, that is the gatekeeping theory. It was formally identified in Koth Levin publication Forces Behind the Food Habits and Methods of Changes in 1943. Censorship is the suppression of speech or other public communication that may be considered objectionable, harmful, sensitive, or inconvenient as determined by a government. Because media outlets or other controlling body in explained with the help of the gatekeeping theories. The gatekeeper decides basically what information should move to group or individual and what information should not. Here the gatekeeper are the decision makers who letting the whole system socially. In this, through this process, the unwanted, sensible, and controversial information are removed by their gatekeeper, which helps to control the society or a group and letting them in a right path. Basically, gatekeeper is that kind of person which help us to know about the informational or important news delivered. That's it. Firstly, identified the whole news and the whole effects, and after viewing the all aspects, if according to him or her, if some news are less important, then they can remove it. Similarly, pending news can be delivered for the spreading, for the printing and the publications also. The gatekeeper is having its own influence like a social, cultural, ethical, and political. Based on personal and social influences, they let the information to their group. Through this process, the unwanted, sensible, and controversial informations are removed by their gatekeeper, which helps to control the society or a group and letting them in a right path. In news medium, editor play a vital role. He has to decide that what kind of news items will publish and what should not. The channel have its own ethics and the policies. Through this the editor decision the news items for their published or aired. In some cases, according to me, that few news items are rejected by the editor due to their organization policy or their news items which are not suitable for their publish. I'm giving you an example of the gatekeeping theories. That is, some editor decides the news item, specially he can't show the Texas bulk flight because it's not internationally popular stories. Some terror issues and UN decisions are universal common news that won't affect the channel reputation in a public and organization policy. An international news channel received number of news items within day like international terror issues and the international community. A news channel can't those, and the same time the news channel can't show the religious abuses also because it may hurt audience directly and it may affect the organization policy also. We have some kind of a levels that includes the gatekeeping. First is individuals, routine practices, communication work, communication organizations, social institutions, and the societies. That's it. You can say this the picture of the gatekeeping theory. In this, we have news items. We have a gatekeeper, selected news items, discard the news items, and with the help of discarding news item, that is the on policy. In the communication theories, we have a uses and effective theories like agenda setting, reinforcement, theory of incident, cultivation, spiral of silence, social learning, and the uses and gratification theory. Now, firstly, we will move on the agenda setting theory. Basically, agenda setting theories are mostly used for the election purpose, where the politicians and leaders set up a properly agenda, which we can also call the propaganda, for the gaining the attentions and the sympathy for the people. If I am talking about the agenda setting theory, it's basically in choosing and displaying news editors, newsroom staff, and broadcasters play an important role in shaping the political reality. In this, readers learn about the issues, how much importance attached to that issues, saying of candidates during campaign. Mass media well determine the important issue. We have some media set the agenda. It's basically shows that media is powerful in popularizing direct stories, events, and also but recognize the public as a free to choose how they think about things. In this, he also studied that relationship between media coverage and reality. In this, we also played a public gave a high ranking but also issues which media gave coverage. In this, we interlink between the priority of issues identified by the media and those identified by the group of the respondents. We have two kinds of level agenda setting. That first, enact the common subjects that are most important. Second thing, that we have to decide the what part of the subject are important. Next one is the reinforcement theory. In the reinforcement theory, we have the workers behavior due to the consequences in the environment. It merely reinforces exciting values and the attitudes. We have a law of effect, behaviors having planned on the positive. In this is a psychological principle maintaining that behavior are shaping by their consequences, that accordingly individual behavior can be changed through rewards and the punishments. We have a positive reinforcement involves the use of rewards of reinforced behavior. In this, it means you are increasing a behavior. It is any consequences or outcomes that increases the likelihood of a particular behavioral response and that therefore reinforce and the behavior. Basically, reinforcement attempts to increase the frequency of a behavior by rewarding that behavior. I'm giving you an example. If an employee identifies a new market opportunity that creates the positive or a profit impact on it, on organization, may give her a bonus. So this will positively reinforce the desired the behavior. In the term used in the operant conditioning to refer to anything that increases the likelihood that a response will occur. Psychologist B.F. Sicker is considered that the father of this theory. Not that reinforce is defined by the effect. Basically, that it has no behavior. It just increases or strengthens the response also. Next one is the incidental effect of the theory. If I am talking about the incidental effect, so it is a concept of the European Union law that allows the use of indirect effect with the help of directiveness in a private legal actions. Incidental effect encompasses the all kind of factors that precede the effects but are unrelated to the judgmental target. We have some giving you example here, that some kind of mood, priming, motor effect, affecting conditioning that gives is the Aldous Huxley in 2002. Next one is the cultivation theory and cultural indicators theory. Cultivation theory is a social theory which examines the long-term effect of the television. The primary proposition of the cultivation theory states that the more time people spend living in the television world, and the more likely they are to believe social reality portrayed on television. Because cultivation theory, people with the different kinds of programs of what is true in our world. Basically, cultivation theory explains that how people's conceptions of the social reality are influenced according to the exposure of the television. The cultivation hypothesis states that the more television people watch, the more likely they are to hold a view of reality that is closer to television's and depiction of the reality. In this, we have some kinds that cultivation theory claims that the television promotes us to believe a view of a real life that is inaccurate, which were constantly portrayed in the different programs. Those who watched less, the power of the synthetic reality, where mean world syndrome can play a role. Gardner claims that by the age of the 6, a child's worst view has been established by their television. It states that the frequent viewers of the television are more susceptible to media messages and they believe that they are real and invalid. I'm giving you an example that cultivation theory is a television ability to stabilize and homogene views with a society, because children who watched commercial TV have notably more sex stereotyped view of women and men than children who didn't watch the commercial TV. Next one is the cultural indicators. George Gardner introduced the cultivation theory in the 1960s as a part of the cultural indicators project to examine the influence of the television on viewers, because cultivation theory holds the long-term exposures to mass media shape how the consumer of the media perceive the world and conduct themselves. Next one is the third person effect. The third person effect, basically the hypothesis predicts that people tend to perceive that mass media messages have a great effect on other than on themselves. Based on personal biases, other names of the effect are the third person perceptions and the web third person effects also. Basically, the third person effect can foster some desirable behavior as well. It is pronounced individuals are sometimes more likely to become involved in the political arena. They are more likely to vote and so on. If I am measure the effect that the actual third person effect involves subtracting first is the self from the others. It means differences in media effects on themselves and on other due to question order were not statically significant, because the hypothesis that proposed that people tend to overestimate the influence that a mass communication messages have on the attitudes and the behavior of others. In the sixth theories are cultivation, agenda setting, framing, uses and gratification, social learning, and the third person effects are more impact of the people's life. In this, we also can estimate the impact of mass media. We have just messages will have a greater impact on ourselves and influenced by the media than they really think they are. Next one is the social learning theory. Social learning theory, basically a theory of learning process and a social behavior which proposes that new behaviors can be acquired by observing and imitating others, because social learning theory in everyday life are common, with one of the most evident being the behaviors of children as they imitate family members, friends, famous figures, and even television characters. It also a human being learns that by observation and model behaviors. If a child preserves, there is a meaningful reward for such behavior, they will perform it at some point. It's also an important factor that observing, modeling, imitating the behaviors, attitudes, emotional reactions of others, and they also considered how both environmental and cognitive factors interact to influence the human learning and behavior. It kinds of a main proposes that individuals learn by observing the behavior of others. They then evaluate the effect of those behaviors by observing the positive and negative consequences that follows. Next one is the uses and gratification theory. If I am telling about the uses and gratification theory, so this theory deal with the effect of people on the media. The theory describes that mass communication as it provides an approach that is audience concerned. It deals with how and why people adopt the specific media to satisfy their needs. Uses and gratification theory bases the explain why people choose and use certain media forms. In this, I am telling you, uses means that how we can use the media, and gratification means for our satisfaction. In this, that how we can use the media for our satisfaction, for our relaxation or our personal purposes. The theory emphasizes a limit effects position, that is the media have a limit the effect on their audiences because audiences are able to exercise control over their media. In this, one influential traditions in media research is referred to as uses and gratification. This approach focuses on why people use particular media and rather than on content. However, some commentators have argued that the gratification could also be seen as effect. That is, the thriller are likely to generate very similar responses amongst the most viewers. And who could say that they never watched more TV than they had intended to? Because watching TV helped to shape the audience needs and expectations also. Similarly, developmental factors seems to be related to some motivates for purposeful viewing. That's it. Clearly has shown the influence of the mood on the media choose, and boredom encourages the choice of exciting content and the stress encourages a choice of relaxing content also. So thank you so much. I hope you cleared the all media theories of communication here.